Are you ready to unlock your full potential? This is Pulse of Victory, where we provide you with the mindset, strategies, and inspiration you need to achieve lasting success. Meet Finn, a 35-year-old clockmaker with sandy blonde hair that always seemed slightly disheveled, as if he'd been running his hands through it for hours. His piercing blue eyes were often magnified by thick-rimmed glasses, perched precariously on his nose. He wore a perpetually stained apron over a faded plaid shirt, and jeans evidence of countless days spent tinkering with gears and springs. Finn was known in his small town as the most meticulous craftsman around. Every clock he made was a masterpiece, precise, down to the millisecond. But there was one problem. Finn's obsession with perfection meant he rarely finished anything on time. Deadlines came and went, while he agonized over minute details, convinced that just one more adjustment would make all the difference. Despite his talent, Finn lived in constant frustration. His workshop, a cozy but cluttered space filled with half-finished clocks, scattered tools, and stacks of sketches, was both his sanctuary and his prison. Each unfinished project whispered accusations of wasted potential, fueling his anxiety and self-doubt. Finn faced two major challenges. First, analysis paralysis. No matter how hard he tried, Finn couldn't stop second-guessing himself. Every decision felt monumental, every mistake seemed catastrophic. It wasn't uncommon for him to spend an entire day adjusting a single gear, only to realize he'd overcomplicated something simple. Second, missed opportunities. Because of his inability to finish projects on time, Finn had lost several high-profile commissions. Clients grew impatient, and his reputation suffered. Worst of all, he began doubting whether he'd succeed at his craft. Third, self-comparison. Scrolling through social media late at night, Finn saw other artisans posting flawless creations and glowing testimonials. Their success made him feel even more inadequate, reinforcing his belief that he'd never measure up. One fateful morning, Finn received an urgent letter from the mayor of his town. The town hall's grand clock, the centerpiece of the square, had stopped working. They needed it repaired within 3 days for an upcoming festival. If Finn failed, not only would the event be ruined, but his already shaky reputation might crumble entirely. Panic set in immediately. Finn stared at the letter, his mind racing with worst-case scenarios. What if I mess this up? What if everyone blames me? For hours, he paced his workshop, sketching plans and discarding them just as quickly. By the end of the first day, he hadn't even touched the clock. That evening, Finn's elderly neighbor, Mrs. Harper, stopped by with a basket of freshly baked cookies. She noticed the dark circles under his eyes and the untouched tools on his workbench. "You've got this, Finn," she said gently. "Sometimes, you just have to start." "But what if I do it wrong?" Finn replied, his voice tinged with desperation. "What if I ruin everything?" Mrs. Harper chuckled. "You know, my late husband used to say, a clock that doesn't tick is still better than one that never starts. Maybe it's time to let go of perfect and aim for good enough." Her words lingered in Finn's mind long after she left. Though skeptical, he decided to take her advice, at least for now. The next morning, Finn arrived at the town hall determined to make progress. As he examined the broken clock, he realized the mechanism was far simpler than he'd imagined. Instead of obsessing over every detail, he focused on getting the basics right. With each small Victoria gear clicking into place, a pendulum swinging smoothly, he gained confidence. But then disaster struck. While tightening a bolt, Finn accidentally stripped the thread, causing the entire assembly to collapse. Frustrated, he slammed his fist on the table, sending tools clattering to the floor. Just as despair threatened to overwhelm him, he remembered Mrs. Harper's words. "A clock that doesn't tick." Taking a deep breath, Finn stepped back and assessed the damage. To his surprise, the mishap revealed a simpler solution he hadn't considered before. By simplifying the design, he could fix the clock faster without compromising its functionality. With renewed determination, Finn worked tirelessly through the night. When doubt crept in, he reminded himself that action, even imperfect action, was better than none. By sunrise, the clock was ticking again, its rhythmic chimes echoing through the empty square. Resolution and conclusion. On the day of the festival, the townspeople gathered beneath the restored clock, marveling at its beauty and precision. When the mayor announced that Finn had saved the day, the crowd erupted into applause. For the first time in years, Finn felt a sense of pride not because the clock was flawless, but because he'd finally trusted himself to act. Later that evening, Finn returned to his workshop where a new clock sat waiting on his bench. This time, instead of overthinking, he picked up his tools and began working immediately. Mistakes happened, but he embraced them as part of the process. By the end of the week, he completed the clock, a testament to his newfound mindset. Moral lesson: overthinking steals opportunities and stifles growth. Action, even imperfect action, builds momentum and confidence. By embracing imperfection and focusing on progress, we unlock our potential and achieve meaningful results. Remember, a journey begun is always better than one endlessly planned. Throughout his journey, Finn transformed from a paralyzed perfectionist into a confident creator who valued effort over outcomes. He learned that success isn't about avoiding mistakes, it's about moving forward despite them. His story reminds us all to silence our inner critic and take bold steps toward our goals. What's one thing you're grateful for today? Let's spread some positivity in the comments. If you found this story inspiring, fuel the pulse of victory by liking this video and subscribing for more tales of resilience and success. Thank you.